Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. And of course, welcome live on our YouTube channel with me and today with Andreas, our CEO. Andreas, how are you doing?
Hi, Sylvie. I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Perfect
Nice.
and ready for our
Perfect.
live. Okay. So we will give you guys the time to join us so you can grab a coffee or a glass of water as I did just in case so you can relax and enjoy this live. If you have any comments, you can write them down and Andreas can then answer your comments. So we are also open for that. And okay, then I would say that we can slowly start because today we have an interesting topic. So, Andreas will, let's say, talk about a bit about an event that took place just a few days ago. So, the Verisk Elevate 2025 in Salt Lake City, right? Utah.
Yes.
Oh, are you feel like are you still empowered by this event, Andreas?
Oh,
What?
oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I mean, for our audience, maybe, Sylvie, we give them a quick intro on kind of this new format, no?
Yeah.
So I think we have come together since kind of our last show in 2024 and said, okay, what do we want to do with this format of the CEO Live with Magic Plan to bring value to kind of our customers? And we basically said, okay, we need kind of one recurring theme a little bit more to kind of see a build up. And so we decided that we are going forward going to have two kind of variations of the format. One is me talking about some of the trade shows I visit over the course of the year to give a perspective on the industry overall, the ecosystem, and how that influences Magic Plan and what we do here as a product. And that hopefully has the benefit for the customers to really get a better understanding of what drives us and where we can help. I mean, we are in contact, but we also have this kind of overall ecosystem in which we are in. So we wanted to kind of give that inside view of what we are doing here. And then kind of the second one being more specific, where we say, okay, then how that actually translates into our product development. So today, the session, as Sylvia mentioned, I came back from Salt Lake City last week. I was there at the Verisk Elevate show. So for whomever doesn't know, basically the Verisk Exactimate product is really the one unifying product for the North American US insurance industry. So all insurance carriers, or most of them, kind of funnel their claims through Exactimate. And yeah, they had this huge show. And for this year, I think as the second year, they invited third-party applications like Magic Plan to participate in the show. And that was super interesting. We are going to go into more detail about kind of like the effects and how that went together. But overall, Salt Lake City, it was a first for me. So first time at the show, but also first time in Salt Lake City in Utah. And I think, Sylvie, you prepared some pictures that
Something visual.
something visual that we wanted to share with you to just get in the mood before we dive into the specifics of the topic.
Perfect. Then I'm gonna show it's a 20-second video, but then everyone can have a better idea of what it was, this beautiful event, and then we can keep going. So here we are. And
So
there it is.
there it is. So what did we see in the very first picture that was super quick? And admittedly not the perfect shot, but I thought it was really fun. When arriving at the airport, you typically have your baggage claim area, but there in Salt Lake City, you also have the ones upright for skis, which something I had never seen before. But also just made a hell lot of a sense to say, okay, rather than having your ski bag lying around because it can't fit in the normal baggage belt, they had that one specifically. So yeah, big ski area. We had the Olympic Games there a couple of years back, and the ones coming up, I think, in 10 years time or so. So also that was one element. Alan from our team went there and actually did some skiing. We also saw that picture, and that really
Okay.
kicked off the event. So some kind of just uh, open skiing, open conversations, and then continued as a theme at the show. So what we also saw that we had a booth there, and it was kind of like a circle of third-party vendors. And that is the one observation which I would like to talk probably the most about today. You really see the industry, how upstream it is all consolidated, right? So for the insurance carriers, it's basically either Exactimate or CoreLogic that they kind of accept their claims in. But then going downstream, it's many more different solutions and vendors and whatnot that are trying to capture the information in the field. And I mean, we had conversations pretty much with the full breadth of the ecosystem there. So we were talking to other software vendors, like partners we integrate with Clean Claims, but also partners we are kind of in early discussions, hinting at Exteria, not mentioning the name just now. We were talking to adjusters. We were talking to restorers. We were talking to insurance carriers. We obviously were talking to Verisk. And we were also talking to kind of like other parties in the ecosystem. And so the one point that I thought was interesting, that the more you go kind of downstream, but also the closer you get to the actual site of loss, the less standardization is there, right? So you have the adjuster companies who have large pools of independent adjusters, and they don't want to, or they can't really determine what software is used. And then you also have the restoration companies or franchises, which are also hesitant to really kind of tell the field what to do. And I think this is an interesting dynamic, and one that, I mean, we benefit from, because I mean, what's our path to success? Mostly it's people getting to know magicplan, just liking the product, and then keep using it. And I think that is one element that we see there a lot, this kind of drive for being creative and finding solutions for your own problem is especially diverse with those kind of field sketching, field documentation systems. So that was one observation that really became clear, and it was kind of exemplified in the in this booth that we had there, because there was, I think, maybe 15 companies that were all tied around, okay, how can we support people in the field best? That was kind of the overarching theme.
Okay, Andreas, about this topic, which is of course very important, otherwise we would not be here, right? You talk to a lot of people from a lot of industries, as you mentioned, like insurances, restorers, adjusters, and so on. What do they look for? Like, what is something or a feature that is common to all of them? Because of course we want to provide a good product that's useful. But is there something specific that you would say, let's say, puts them together?
Yeah, I mean, so basically, it's what is everyone trying to look or trying to prove, which is kind of the size of the loss, right?
Mhm.
So how much money do I need to get that insurance claim fixed? That's what everyone wants to know. Okay, the dollar amount. But then what leads to the dollar amount? It's basically, or what leads to the dollar amount being deemed justified and right. You need a completeness and consistency of information around that loss. And I think that's this overarching theme, which, yeah, at the one end, again, is very consolidated, but at the far end, but also in my mind, the most important element on site is kind of the most diverse. And I think that's the whole challenge that the industry and all the different stakeholders are in. How can we translate this? Everyone has their individual view, and how can we translate this so that we eventually talk about the same thing? So you want to agree on a dollar amount, and to do that, you need kind of a completeness and a consistency of information that passes through all of those different stakeholders.
Okay, perfect. Now I'm checking here in the comments. We have someone saying hello. Hi there. Okay. And well, Andreas, you had a lot of conversations, as we said, right? So we were there to, of course, present Magic Plan as a solution for all these industries, all these people needing something efficient. But what do you think that the advantage of Magic Plan would be, or what is the advantage that Magic Plan would, bring to these industries?
Yeah. I mean, so as I mentioned, we had conversations with everyone in the value chain, from other software vendors to other kind of adjusters, restorers, carriers. And what we did at the event is basically what everyone from the audience had the chance to do in our last session in December. We showcased them our new capture. So the one where we allow you to also talk to your device while you scan your surroundings. I'm pretty sure we are going to link the video in the show notes from the December session. But just a quick recap. Typically, you use your device to scan the measurements of the room, but now we want you to kind of talk to your device while doing so and do more like a show and tell. So what does that mean? We want to include pictures, but also we want to include your observations and your investigation of the property. And that is kind of what's the key element here. We believe that the first person on site, we still think it's a benefit if it's a somewhat trained professional, but someone who's on site and makes their observation. If we can capture their kind of state of mind and while being present, that would be a key element. So how do we want to support this? We want to support this to do this kind of natural show and tell. You could do it to someone else, but in our case, you can do it to your device. And you end up not only with the sketch and the pictures, but also with a transcript of what you have observed. So you can already mention the cause of loss. You can start classifying the materials of the floor, the walls, and whatnot. We can do kind of calculations of what are likely amounts of kind of equipment that you need there on site. And we are kind of giving and presenting that information, the sketch, the pictures, and the observations, kind of like the very moment you end your scan there, right? So within the, I would say, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 minutes of your site visit, all of that information that we talked is kind of consistently captured and available to everyone else, right? So it's available to you, but it's also available through kind of syncing and passing the information on anyone else later down the process. And what do we want to achieve by this? we want to achieve by this, that at the very start, everyone has the most complete picture as possible. And that it was the theme that we shared with everyone on site there. And we also gave like the second nugget and hint. So what if you can ensure that this data is consistent and complete by asking back questions to the person on site while she's still there? And that really always then sparked up the room, because I think everyone then was like, okay, thinking about whatever bugged their mind or problems that they encountered, and they could push that forward all the way to the person being on site. So this was really our topic that we wanted to bring to the conversation there, and it has multiple effects, but I'll quickly pause here. So recap, we basically showed them the voice enabled capture that we showed all of you in December. And what's the idea here is you do one show and tell, and then have this completeness completeness of information. And then the second bit is to achieve the actual completeness. What if, and we are hopefully going to demo this by the next time we are coming together here. What if you can ask back questions to kind of solve for the most difficult problems and inconsistencies or incompleteness that you are observing in your type of loss, in your whatnot. So that was kind of the story that we wanted to bring to the conference. And it was really interesting to see the conversations that then, either were verbalized or you saw them going on in the heads of the participants of those meetings.
And Andreas, I'm curious, what was the reaction of people? Because I know, like, we test the features and we are more, let's say, familiar with what is coming, of course. But what was the reaction of people hearing about this for the very first time?
I think it sparked ideas around what could you do if you were present, right? And that is, I think, one topic that the industry is trying to look for quite some time. That's kind of desk adjusters or self-assessments or whatnot. And I think we showed an element that gave one form of an answer to this. And also, I think what was cool is it can be specific to your context. So what do I mean by this? It's different for every type of loss. It's different for every property. It's different for different carriers. So you can really customize this. And that was also something that was, I think, well received, because one of the concerns is that, like all of the different products, they don't cater to the very specific needs. And that is something that is a limitation for us. And I acknowledge this. Talk about roofs, right? We know that. But so there are limitations in the systems. And that is one point where I think it frees us from most of the limitations that we have, and really can make it specific, personal to your loss, to your case, which is something that helps with this, again, completeness, consistency of information. It can be really, and it can be kind of, it's relevant. That, I think, is the key element. It's not irrelevant and thus boring and tedious, but it's relevant to what you need to do to your work stream. I think that was recognized a lot, that the possibility of just capturing relevant information rather than kind of being bogged down by lengthy or tedious or whatnot processes.
Okay, perfect. Well, I know that we had like different users asking for something like this 1 or 2 years ago, and now we have it. So it's a big improvement, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, the personal note, I mean, it obviously excites me, but and you asked me at the beginning of our meeting today if I still kind of carry the energy. And I think you saw the excitement reflected in the people that we talked to. And yeah, I mean, that is again what carries us forward as a company. We do our user conference. The conversations there carry us throughout the year, I always say. But I mean, adding on this now, kind of the conference visits and conversations there, they put us in hypercharge, or if you will. So that was really cool.
Okay, perfect. So I see that we do not have questions. So I saw people joining all the time, but I don't see questions. So I think everything was super clear, Andreas.
Well, and if not, we are going to do this over and over again. And what's our goal? Kind of bring value to you by giving you the inside story or kind of backstory of what influences the development of Magic Plan, other than the day-to-day user conversations that we have. But really, those larger industry gatherings are one element that we want to kind of make available to anyone who's interested, right? So feel free, if that was something that you liked, come back. If you say, hey, that was difficult to follow, also, I mean, feel free to let us know and put that in the comments. But that was one we kind of reconvened end of last year, early this year, and what can we do to kind of bring repeating value to our customer base and our followers here on the YouTube lives. That was one thought that we had, and what we are going to experiment with. I think we have the one scheduled until summer, so bear with us until summer, but we are open for feedback during that time already.
Okay, perfect. In the meantime, my screen is changing in the background. I don't know what happened in the other room, but it's okay. Okay, perfect. If we do not have any questions, I think that we can slowly close our session with Andreas. You see the magic. Okay, Andreas, thank you so much for your time today and for bringing your experience on the table, I would say.
Silvi, thanks for hosting, organizing, and openness to our continuous evolvement of the YouTube channel.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for your time. And as we always say, I wish a beautiful morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on the time zone where you are. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.